Discipline is everything. Because without it, nothing else sticks. You can read the books, set the goals, watch the videos, but if you don't have discipline, none of it will last. That's the truth. Most people avoid. They want results, but they don't want responsibility. They want success, but they skip the structure, and they keep wondering why nothing changes. It's because they haven't mastered the one thing that makes everything else possible: discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up every day and doing the work. No shortcuts, no excuses, just action. This isn't theory, it's real. You want to build a better life? You want more focus, more progress, more control? Then you have to stop waiting and start living with discipline. In this video, we're not going to talk about motivation or hype. We're going to talk about how to take back control. You'll learn how to build real habits, stay consistent, and get results that last. No fluff, just the truth. If you're tired of falling short, this might be the most important message you hear today. Stay with it. It's time to get serious. Number 1, choose growth over comfort and mean it. This time, discipline is not something you do once in a while. It's something you live by. And if you're going to master it, the very first thing you must do is choose growth over comfort. And this time, mean it. Not just talk about it. Not just think about it. Mean it. Most people say they want to grow. They say they want to get better, become stronger, achieve more. But their actions tell a different story. Their actions say, I want to be comfortable. I want things to be easy. And that's where everything starts to fall apart. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. That's the plain truth. You grow when it's uncomfortable. You grow when it's inconvenient. You grow when it's hard. And if you want to master discipline, you have to stop making comfort your priority. You have to stop choosing what feels good right now and start choosing what builds your life long term. Think about how many times you've said, I'll start tomorrow, or I'm tired, or just this once. Those are comfort statements. That's not discipline talking. That's not growth. That's how we drift into mediocrity. That's how we let time pass us by. And the worst part is, we know it. We feel it. That little voice in the back of your mind telling you that you could have done more today, that you cut corners, that you gave up early, that you didn't keep your word to yourself. That's where discipline begins, right there. In that honest moment with yourself, when no one else is watching, when it's just you and your standards. That's the test. And most people fail it because they keep choosing comfort. They keep giving in to the easy way. But the truth is, if you keep making that trade comfort over growth, you'll keep losing. You'll lose your time, your momentum, your confidence. You'll lose the pride that comes from pushing through. And eventually you'll lose belief in yourself. You have to make a decision. And I mean a real decision. Not something you write in a journal and forget the next day. Not something you post about online. A real decision is one you live. It's one you stick to when it's 6 a.m. and your alarm goes off and you don't feel like moving. A real decision is one that shows up in your calendar, in your meals, in your work ethic. It's in how you train yourself to act, even when no one's rewarding you for it. Growth comes at a price, and that price is comfort. You can't have both, not at the same time. If you keep choosing what's easy, you'll never build the mental muscle required to do what's necessary. Discipline is the practice of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And guess what? You're not always going to feel like it. But that's the point. The ones who master discipline are the ones who act anyway. You have to break that habit of quitting when it gets uncomfortable. You have to get sick of that version of you that keeps backing down when things get tough. Growth doesn't happen on the days you feel good. Growth happens when you choose to act, despite the discomfort. It's in the days you show up, even when you're tired, stressed, or uninspired. It's in the moment when you say no to a distraction and yes to what matters. Discipline is built through repetition, and not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. If you want to grow, you've got to stop waiting for the perfect moment. There's no perfect moment. There's now. This is it. You either do the work or you don't. And every time you choose discipline, you build strength. You train your mind to take control. You build trust with yourself. But it starts by being honest. Have you really been choosing growth, Or have you been making decisions based on how you feel in the moment? Because if you've been doing that, it's no surprise why things haven't changed. Feelings come and go. Growth sticks. Growth is the result of consistent discipline. It's the result of doing what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. There's a sense of pride that comes from doing what you said you would do. That pride builds your confidence. It strengthens your self-respect. It raises your standards, and that's what you want. That's what makes discipline worth it. You stop relying on outside praise. You start becoming someone you respect. You start seeing yourself differently, and you start acting like someone who takes control of their life. Most people give up because they're addicted to the feeling of comfort. They've trained themselves to run from anything that feels hard. That's why they never break out. That's why they stay stuck. But the ones who grow, the ones who move ahead, are the ones who look discomfort in the face and say, "I'm doing it anyway." Choosing growth means you stop running from the work. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for someone else to push you. You push yourself, and when you do that day after day, choice after choice, something powerful happens. You become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. And that strength isn't temporary. It's earned. It stays with you. It carries over into every part of your life. The food you eat, the hours you sleep, the money you spend, the people you let into your life. It all starts to change when you start taking discipline seriously. You stop tolerating nonsense. You stop wasting time. You stop drifting, and you start living with direction. You don't master discipline overnight, but you do build it one decision at a time. Start with today. Choose growth over comfort today, and then do it again tomorrow. Stack the days, stack the decisions, and eventually your life will reflect the discipline you've practiced. And don't just say you want to grow. Prove it, show it, live it. Cut out the distractions. Cancel the weak choices. Replace them with solid actions. Discipline is the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. It's the line between average and excellent. And it's a line you get to cross daily. So if you're serious this time, if you really want to change, then choose growth and mean it. Don't just want a better life. Build it. Don't just dream about becoming more. Do what it takes to become it. Start now and keep going. Discipline will take you there. Number 2, follow through on every promise you make to yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your discipline. You don't need anyone else to see it. You feel it. You know it. That quiet moment after you said you'd do something, but didn't, that's where the damage is done. That's where your self-respect takes a hit. Discipline is not just about the actions you take in front of others. It's about the commitment you hold behind closed doors. If you say you'll do it, you must follow through. That's how trust is built. That's how discipline becomes real. You train yourself to follow your word without exception. Most people are great at promising. They say they'll wake up early, stop wasting time, fix their habits. But when the moment comes to act, they fold. They push it to later, to tomorrow, to someday. And they think it doesn't matter. But it does. It matters because each broken promise becomes a pattern. Each delay becomes a habit. And over time, it builds a life filled with regret. Following through isn't just about goals. It's about becoming someone who finishes what they start. Someone who respects their own words. Someone who holds a standard that doesn't bend. Discipline means your word means something. Not just to others, but to you. That's where strength comes from. When you begin to take yourself seriously, everything changes. You stop allowing lazy thoughts to decide your actions. You stop quitting halfway through. You stop making excuses. You show up because you said you would. You work hard because you promised you would. And even when it gets boring or uncomfortable or quiet, you keep going. That follow-through becomes your edge. It separates you from the ones who talk and the ones who do. And it gives you quiet confidence that lasts. You know what feels worse than hard work? Knowing you could have done it and didn't. That sinking feeling of letting yourself down. It sticks. It stays with you at night. It shows up in your energy, in your motivation, in your results. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to keep your promises. Start small. Choose one thing every day, something that matters to your progress. Commit to it. Do it even when it's inconvenient. And when you finish, you feel it. that sense of progress, that pride. That's where real discipline grows, in action, in truth, in proof. Following through teaches you to act without debate. You stop negotiating with laziness. You stop overthinking. You just do. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't wait for the mood to be right. You made a promise, so you follow through. That habit changes everything. Because when life gets busy, or people disappoint you, or plans fall apart, you don't fall with them. You've trained yourself to show up anyway. That's what discipline is. It's not motivation. It's not emotion. It's execution. When you keep your word to yourself, you start to believe in yourself in a way no one else can give you. It's easy to show up when things are exciting. It's easy to follow through when you're fired up. But those moments are rare. Most days are plain. Most days are hard. And this is where most people disappear. They quit. They justify it. They say it wasn't the right time. But the truth is, they broke the promise. And every time you quit early, you teach yourself to give up. Don't do that. Don't train yourself to be weak. Train yourself to follow through. No matter how small the task. Discipline is built by what you do when it's no longer fun. Start thinking long-term. Ask yourself this: what kind of person do you want to become? If that answer includes words like strong, successful, focused, then know this: every one of those qualities requires follow-through. You can't build anything worthwhile without it. Whether it's your health, your finances, your skills, or your relationships, it all comes down to whether you can do what needs to be done consistently. Not once in a while. Every single day. When you commit to something and finish it, even when it's tough, you get better. You become sharper. You start to respect the version of yourself that shows up. People look for secrets. They want shortcuts. They ask how to stay disciplined. But here's the truth. Just keep your promises. That's the answer. If you say you'll read, read. If you say you'll save money, save it. If you say you'll stop wasting time, stop. The more you do this, the more powerful you become. Because most people can't do it. They fall off. They lie to themselves. They repeat the same mistakes. You don't have to be like them. You can decide that your word matters. You can decide to build a life that reflects your standards, not your moods. Discipline gives you control. When you follow through, you take back power from all the little distractions, all the temptations, all the weak habits trying to run your life. You stop blaming your circumstances. You stop blaming people. You stop blaming the day. And you start owning everything. You create results because you've built the discipline to follow through. No more half-finished plans. No more starting strong and quitting early. No more talking big and doing little. When you say you'll do it, you do it. You show up, you execute. And when you do it long enough, your results speak for you. So today, decide that your promises are non-negotiable. Even the small ones. Especially the small ones. Because those daily decisions build your identity. Every task you complete, every action you finish, every time you choose follow through, you build something powerful inside, something real. You don't need to shout it. You don't need to post it. Just live it. Live like your word matters, because it does. And if you ever want to master discipline, this is where it begins. Keep your promises to yourself. No matter what, that's the foundation. That's the path. That's the standard that changes your life for good. Number 3, cut out the noise and stick to what matters now. Discipline starts with clarity. If you don't know what truly matters to you, you'll get pulled in every direction. You'll chase things that don't bring progress. You'll waste hours on distractions that drain your energy. One of the most powerful steps toward real discipline is learning to cut the noise. That means cutting what doesn't serve your goals. Not later. Now, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to focus on what actually moves your life forward. Anything that pulls you away from that is noise. And noise will always keep you stuck. Everywhere you turn, there's something screaming for your attention. Social media, endless opinions, constant comparisons, pointless conversations. These things eat your time before you even notice. They fill your mind with clutter, with thoughts that don't belong to you. If you don't filter your input, you'll lose focus on what you really want. Discipline is not just about action, it's about attention. Where your focus goes, your life follows. You can't afford to keep feeding your mind junk and expect to stay driven. If it doesn't help you grow, cut it out. If it's not useful, it doesn't belong in your day. People think they need more time, but what they really need is less distraction. The hours are already there. The energy is there too, but it's wasted on things that don't matter. Things that make you feel busy without making you better. The solution is not to try harder, it's to get clear. Ask yourself what matters today. What are the few actions that bring real results? Focus there, pour your effort into that, and shut down everything else. This is how you build discipline. You protect your focus like it's your future, because it is. You can't master discipline if your mind is full of noise. When you're constantly reacting, jumping from one thing to another, you lose control. You end the day feeling scattered and frustrated, and you have nothing solid to show for it. The antidote is intention. Decide ahead of time where your energy will go. Don't leave it up to chance. Don't let every notification or message steal your focus. Be ruthless about what you give your time to. If something isn't helping you grow, it's slowing you down. Discipline means making that cut without hesitation and returning to what matters. Success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters without interruption. You don't need 20 tasks. You need the right 3. The tasks that challenge you, that push your goals forward, that require real focus. If your day is filled with meaningless activity, it doesn't matter how disciplined you think you are. You're just busy, not productive. That's the trap. That's the noise. Cut it. Keep your plate clean. Simplify your environment. Structure your day around what matters most, and then follow through. Discipline becomes easier when your priorities are clear and your distractions are removed. When you finally silence the noise, something important happens. You begin to hear yourself, your real thoughts, your real priorities. You realize how much of your day was controlled by things outside of you. Opinions, trends, gossip, endless scrolling. None of it builds anything meaningful. None of it brings peace. What brings peace is knowing you gave your time to something that counts. Something that reflects your values. Something that proves you're serious about your goals. Cutting out the noise gives your mind space to focus. And focus practiced daily becomes the root of lasting discipline. Discipline thrives in quiet environments. When you strip away the unnecessary, your decisions become sharper. You stop second-guessing. You stop jumping from one thing to the next. You enter a mental space where action becomes clear and simple. But you have to protect that space. You can't let everything in. Be selective about what you read, who you listen to, where your mind spends time. If something drains your energy, step away from it. If something fills your head with doubt or fear, block it. You don't owe your attention to everything. You owe it to your future. It's easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing. That comparison game. That's noise too. You don't need to match anyone else's pace. You just need to stay locked into your own. You're not behind. You're not late. You're just distracted. And that's a choice you can change. Cut the noise and suddenly everything feels simpler. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop saying yes to things that don't matter. You start showing up fully for what actually counts. That's when discipline becomes consistent. Because now your actions are aligned with your vision. The reason most people can't stay disciplined isn't because they're lazy. It's because they're scattered. They've let noise take control of their schedule, their emotions, their mind. You want to master discipline? Start by mastering what you allow in. Create structure in your day. Build systems that support your goals. Say no more often. Get comfortable with silence. Keep your mind clean. Do less with more focus. That's how you regain control. That's how you become intentional. That's how you stop wasting your energy and start building something real with it. What matters most is rarely loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't pull you in. You have to go to it. You have to seek it. And when you find it, you have to protect it. That's the work. That's the discipline. If you want to move forward, you need to be brave enough to ignore the noise and smart enough to stick to what truly matters. Not later, not tomorrow, right now. That's the standard. That's the shift. The more you practice it, the stronger your focus becomes. And with strong focus, anything becomes possible. Number 4, say no to shortcuts and do the full job right. Shortcuts often look like solutions, but they cost more than they save. They take away the lessons that discipline is supposed to teach you. When you skip the process, you miss the growth. You miss the patience, the endurance, the skill. The truth is, most people don't fail because they can't do the work. They fail because they avoid the work. They try to skip steps, to cut corners, to get the outcome without the effort. But success doesn't work that way. If you want results that last, you must commit to doing the full job, the real work, every time. You build discipline by doing things properly. That means starting what you planned and seeing it all the way through. It means giving attention to every detail, not just the easy parts. Discipline grows when you face the hard moments and finish anyway. Shortcuts destroy that habit. They teach your mind that skipping steps is acceptable, and over time, that mindset spreads. You begin taking shortcuts in your health, your goals, your character. You begin lowering your standards just to get things done faster. But the faster path often leaves you further behind in the end. There is something powerful about doing things right. When you take your time, when you give full effort, when you refuse to rush, you feel it. You feel proud of the result. You feel confident in yourself. That's the reward discipline gives. Not only results, but identity. You become someone who doesn't cut corners. You become someone who values the process. The ones who rush it always feel unsure. They know they didn't give their best. They carry that doubt. But when you give everything, there's no question in your mind. You own the outcome because you earned it the right way. People often think shortcuts are about being efficient, but there's a difference between working smart and working cheap. Efficiency still respects the process. It finds better ways without skipping what's necessary. Shortcuts, on the other hand, avoid the hard parts. They ignore the structure. And once you start down that road, it's hard to stop. You begin looking for the quickest route in everything, the easiest way. But growth doesn't come from ease. It comes from discipline, doing what you know you should do, even when it takes more time, more energy, more patience. That's where strength and mastery are born. You don't need more hacks. You need more follow-through. You need to stop chasing instant results and start building real habits. The world pushes quick fixes and fast solutions, but that's not where real success lives. You master discipline when you stop looking for the exit and start owning the process. Every time you choose to do the job right, you train your brain to respect effort. You build trust with yourself. You build habits that last. Because at the end of the day, shortcuts may save you time, but they cost you growth, and growth is what changes your life. There's a reason the full path feels harder. It is. But it's also the only one that gives you everything you need. It teaches you to stay focused. It strengthens your work ethic. It humbles you. It builds your standards. When you take the full path, there's nothing missing. No doubt. No fear that someone will expose your shortcuts. You know what you built, and you know how you built it. That's the kind of discipline that doesn't fade. That's the kind of strength that carries you through the next challenge. Because you've been tested, and you didn't quit early. Doing the full job isn't just about the outcome. It's about the discipline it demands. When you push through the hard parts, when you give full attention to every step, you grow, you improve, you raise your standards. And that changes how you show up in everything. You start taking your goals seriously. You stop rushing through things. You begin to see how every piece of the process matters, even the small ones, especially the small ones. Discipline is found in those little moments where you either take the shortcut or choose to finish the full job with full effort. You can't build a strong life on shortcuts. You might fool others, but you can't fool yourself. Deep down, you always know when you didn't give your best. That feeling stays with you. It eats at your confidence. It holds you back from taking bigger steps. But when you do it right, when you stay disciplined, when you put in the full work, you walk differently. You speak differently. Because you know you earned it. And that belief becomes fuel. It pushes you to keep going. It makes discipline not just a habit, but a way of living. If you want to stand out in this world, finish what you start, and finish it with excellence. Most people give up too early. Most people do just enough to say they tried. But you're not here to be most people. You're here to build discipline that holds strong in every area of your life. That starts by refusing the shortcut, by doing things right, by showing up when it's hard, by holding your work to a higher standard. That's how you master discipline. Not by rushing, not by skipping, but by committing fully, showing up completely, and doing the real work. So the next time you feel the urge to take the easy route, pause. Remind yourself what kind of person you're becoming. Remember that every shortcut you take teaches your mind to avoid pressure, and every full job you finish strengthens your ability to face it. You're building something much bigger than a single result. You're building character. You're building focus. You're building habits that will shape your future. And none of that comes from shortcuts. It comes from discipline. Real, tested, practiced discipline. Say no to the shortcut. Say yes to the full effort. And watch your life transform. Number 5. Face the hard truth and fix your weak habits now. The turning point in your life will come the moment you stop avoiding the truth. It's not the world that's holding you back. It's the habits you've built and the excuses you keep making. You already know where the problems are. You know the late nights, the wasted time, the broken routines. But knowing is not enough. You've got to face it directly. No more sugarcoating, no more blaming, no more hiding behind distractions. Discipline starts when you stop lying to yourself and deal with the areas you've been ignoring. That kind of honesty hurts at first, but it sets you free. Most people want change without facing themselves. They want results without responsibility. They want to feel better, but they don't want to do better. That mindset keeps people stuck for years. If you want to break through, you've got to confront the behaviors that are keeping you average. Take a hard look at how you use your time. Look at your habits with food, with sleep, with your phone. Ask yourself, are these habits helping me or holding me back? And when you get that answer, do something about it. Not tomorrow, not when it's easy. Now, weak habits don't start big. They creep in slowly. One skipped task, one late morning, one more excuse. And before you know it, they've taken over. They drain your energy, steal your time, and lower your standards. And the longer you tolerate them, the harder they are to break. That's why you have to act quickly. Don't give these habits space to grow. Call them out. Replace them with actions that demand focus. Build systems that support your goals, not your laziness. The earlier you deal with weak habits, the stronger your discipline becomes. You don't need to fix everything overnight, but you do need to start. Pick one habit that's costing you progress and take full control of it. Whether it's hitting snooze, eating poorly, or constantly procrastinating, face it head on. Replace that habit with a better one and stick to it daily. That's how you gain momentum. That's how discipline builds. Not in one giant leap, but in a decision repeated every single day. When you clean up one area of your life, the discipline from that change starts to influence everything else. One fix leads to another. Avoiding the truth will only delay your growth. You can't keep pretending things are fine when you know they're not. That quiet guilt, that frustration, that restlessness, it's all trying to get your attention. You know you're capable of more. You feel it, but your habits keep pulling you down. It's time to stop tolerating your own distractions. It's time to raise your expectations. You can't demand greatness from your life while living with weak patterns. The standard you set for yourself is the standard you live with. And if that standard is low, your life will reflect it. Nothing changes until you take ownership. Not partial ownership, full responsibility. That means accepting that your weak habits are your responsibility to fix. No one else is going to do it for you. Stop waiting for the right mood. Stop waiting for a push. That's not discipline. That's dependence. Real strength is built when you stop expecting things to get easier and instead train yourself to get stronger. That shift in mindset changes everything. You stop looking for comfort and you start looking for truth. And that truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is exactly what will move you forward. Once you face the truth, you gain clarity. You begin to see how your choices shape your outcomes. You realize your routines are either building your future or breaking it down. And when that awareness hits, you can't go back to pretending. You can't ignore it anymore. That's the moment you begin to respect discipline. You stop treating it like an option and start treating it like a requirement. Because now you see the cost of inaction. You see how much time you've lost, how much energy you've wasted, and how many goals you've delayed. It takes courage to admit you've been the problem, but it takes even more strength to become the solution. Fixing your weak habits won't be easy. It will take time, effort, and relentless honesty. You'll face resistance. You'll have days where your old patterns try to pull you back. But you must keep going. You must remind yourself why it matters. The life you want depends on this work, not the work people see. The work you do alone. The small decisions, the consistent routines, the inner battles. That's where discipline is forged. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay honest. As long as you keep facing the truth, you'll keep growing. You'll catch your mistakes faster. You'll bounce back quicker. You'll build discipline that's real, not forced. That kind of strength becomes your foundation. It helps you stay focused when distractions come. It helps you stay calm when things get hard. Because now you're not running from your weaknesses, you're fixing them. And with every weak habit you break, your confidence grows. You start to believe in your ability to handle anything. Start today. Look in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. Not what sounds good, not what feels safe. The truth. Then take one weak habit and fix it. Do it without delay, without complaining, without compromise. That single decision might feel small, but it's the start of everything. It's the start of discipline. It's the start of strength. And if you keep doing it, habit by habit, day by day, you'll become the kind of person who doesn't wait for life to change. You'll be the one who changes it. Discipline is everything, and it begins with truth, always. Number 6, treat your goals like deadlines, not dreams. Most people treat their goals like wishes. They talk about what they want, but they never set a time to get it done. That's the problem. A goal without a deadline is just an idea floating around. Nothing happens. Nothing moves. If you're serious about changing your life, you need to stop treating your goals like dreams and start treating them like deadlines. That means putting a real date on it, a real commitment. When you do that, everything shifts. Your actions get sharper. Your focus gets tighter. You stop hoping and you start planning. That's when discipline finally starts to grow. When there's no urgency, it's easy to push things off. You'll say, I'll do it later, or it's not the right time, but later never comes unless you set a deadline. Real deadlines don't wait on feelings. They don't care if you're tired or distracted. They remind you every day that time is running out. That reminder fuels discipline. It forces you to take the work seriously. You stop wasting time. You stop chasing comfort. You start looking at your schedule and asking, what do I need to do today to move forward? That's how progress becomes real. You can have big goals, but if they're floating without a clear timeline, they'll stay out of reach. Deadlines bring structure. They turn vague intentions into daily tasks. They break down the big into small, manageable steps. When you treat your goals like deadlines, you begin to reverse engineer success. You stop being overwhelmed by how far away something feels. Instead, you focus on what needs to happen this week, this day, this hour. Discipline lives in that structure. It thrives when your goals have direction, when your effort has a target, when your work has a finish line. Too many people wait for motivation to kick in. But the truth is, discipline doesn't need motivation. It needs pressure. And nothing creates pressure like a deadline. It adds weight to your choices. You start feeling the cost of wasted time. You become aware of how every day matters. That awareness forces you to grow up. You stop lying to yourself about having plenty of time. You don't. Time is moving whether you use it or not. So attach a date to what matters. Write it down. Make it non-negotiable. Then show up like that deadline means everything. Dreams are passive. Deadlines are active. One feels nice to think about. The other demands action. And the difference is massive. You don't build discipline by thinking about goals. You build it by acting on them. When a goal has a deadline, you become more serious with your habits. You begin tracking your progress. You check in with yourself more often. You make decisions based on your priorities, not your moods. That shift in mindset creates power. You stop drifting. You begin living each day with a stronger sense of control. That control becomes the fuel that drives discipline forward. If you've been stuck, ask yourself if your goals have deadlines or just hope attached to them. Hope feels good, but it's weak without action. Deadlines push you. They call for clarity. They ask for specifics. You can't hide behind excuses when the clock is ticking. That pressure is uncomfortable at first, but it's necessary. It sharpens your focus. It eliminates the unnecessary. You get honest with yourself about what needs to happen and when. That's where discipline kicks in. Not from feeling ready, but from understanding the cost of delay and knowing you're the one who decides what happens next. Discipline responds to structure. That's why setting deadlines is so effective. It organizes your energy. It gives your mind a fixed direction. And when you combine that with consistent effort, results begin to compound. Every hour spent working toward that goal becomes more meaningful. Every task feels like it belongs. You're not just busy, you're aligned. You're not just planning, you're executing. That feeling builds confidence. It builds momentum. And as you move closer to your deadline, your commitment deepens. You start to see that this isn't just about finishing one goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who follows through. There's a mental shift that happens when you stop postponing. You stop living in potential and start living in progress. You stop saying one day and start saying by this day. That mindset brings accountability, and accountability builds discipline. You wake up with purpose. You plan with urgency. You execute with focus. The discipline becomes automatic, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You stop entertaining distractions. You start managing your time like it matters, because now it does. When you've attached a real date to your goal, wasting time starts to feel expensive, and that's a powerful feeling. The reason discipline is hard for most people is because their goals have no pressure behind them. Pressure creates growth. Without it, you'll keep putting things off, waiting for perfect moments. But the world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards results, and results require deadlines. You need to know when you're finishing. You need to know what needs to be done by then. And you need to hold yourself to it, especially when it's inconvenient. That kind of pressure forces you to level up. You begin managing your emotions better. You stop falling for excuses. You start becoming sharper with your effort. Start treating your goals like deadlines. Starting today. Stop waiting. Pick a date. Break it into steps. Show up daily. Let each action bring you closer to that finish line. You'll feel resistance at first, but that's where discipline is born. You'll feel uncomfortable, but that's how you grow. Keep the deadline in front of you. Let it remind you that time is not unlimited. The more urgency you bring to your goals, the stronger your discipline becomes. You'll stop living in theory and start living in action. You'll build the habits that lead to results, and you'll finally take control. Number 7, follow a routine that holds you accountable every day. Discipline is not built through big moments. It's built through daily structure. If your life has no routine, it has no rhythm. And if it has no rhythm, it has no momentum. You need to follow a routine that holds you accountable every single day. A routine doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't change based on your mood. It simply says, show up. That's the power of it. When your routine is clear and consistent, it keeps you focused. It gives your days direction. Without that, you'll wander. You'll drift. And drifting is the enemy of discipline. The first step to building discipline is deciding what your day should look like. Not what you hope it looks like. What it must look like. This means deciding when to wake up, what to work on, what to avoid, and how to track it. If you can't measure your actions, you can't improve them. A routine gives you control over your time. And when you control your time, you begin to control your life. Most people think discipline is about willpower, but that fades. A strong routine followed daily keeps you grounded long after motivation disappears. Your routine must include things that challenge you. Easy routines produce lazy results. If everything in your day feels comfortable, you're not growing. Your routine should stretch you. It should make you sharpen your focus, move with urgency, and eliminate distractions. That's where accountability lives, in discomfort. The kind that reminds you what needs to be done, not just what feels good. You need to hold yourself to it. Not once in a while, but daily. The discipline you want won't show up without that kind of structure, and it won't stay without consistency. There's no need for a perfect routine. You just need a real one. One that fits your life, but still pushes your limits. Start with what matters most. Choose 3 core actions that move you closer to your goals. Lock them into your daily plan. Then follow through. That alone will separate you from most people. They move through life reacting to things. You'll be creating direction every day. A routine gives your energy purpose. It protects you from wasting hours on things that don't matter. And over time, it trains your mind to expect discipline as a normal part of life. Accountability isn't about pressure from others. It's about pressure from within. A routine forces you to check in with yourself. Did you do what you said you'd do? Did you stay focused? Did you use your time well? You can't lie to yourself when your actions are written down and tracked. That's the point. A routine brings your results out into the open. You either did the work or you didn't. No hiding, no pretending. That kind of daily honesty builds serious discipline. It reminds you that progress isn't accidental. It's the result of showing up again and again. Some days you won't feel like doing the work. That's when the routine saves you. When your emotions try to take over, the routine keeps you steady. It removes the need for decision-making. You don't have to wonder what to do. You just follow the plan. And each time you do, you strengthen your ability to stay committed under pressure. The more you stick to your routine, the more natural it becomes. It turns into a habit. And those habits, practiced over time, build a disciplined life without constant mental battles or wasted time. Your environment should support your routine. If your space is filled with distractions, you'll never stay focused. Set your life up so your routine flows. Prepare your workspace. Keep your phone away when it's time to work. Wake up at the same time. Eat clean. Plan your day before it starts. These details matter. They're not small, they're the foundation. Discipline comes from reducing friction between you and your responsibilities. A strong routine removes the chaos and creates clarity. That clarity makes discipline easier because you're not guessing your way through the day. You're following a process that works. Routine also reveals what needs to change. As you repeat your day, you'll see what's working and what isn't. You'll see the gaps, the delays, the weak spots. That awareness gives you a chance to adjust, improve, and evolve. Discipline doesn't mean being rigid. It means being consistent while staying open to refinement. Your routine should grow with you. If your goals get bigger, so should your structure. But never lose that daily commitment. Never let your routine turn into something casual. It's not just a schedule. It's a reflection of your priorities, and your priorities shape your future. The reason most people stay stuck is because they live in reaction. They wake up without a plan and hope for the best. That mindset leads to distraction, laziness, and excuses. But when you build a routine that demands effort from you, everything changes. You stop being passive. You stop relying on how you feel. You start taking control. You begin making discipline a lifestyle, not a temporary fix. And once you experience the momentum that comes from a locked-in daily routine, you'll never go back to the old way of living, because results feel better than comfort. Your routine is your foundation. It's the daily contract you make with yourself. If you honor that contract, discipline becomes natural. You'll stop starting over. You'll stop falling behind. You'll live each day with direction. It won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. Because every day you follow that routine, you're proving to yourself that your goals matter. And when your actions match your priorities, your life begins to transform. That's how discipline is mastered. Not through one big decision, but through a simple structure, followed daily, that holds you to a higher standard, always. Number 8. Master the boring tasks that build real results. The path to real results isn't always exciting. Most of the progress you'll ever make in life won't come from big events or dramatic changes. It'll come from doing the same simple things every single day. The tasks that feel routine, the ones that seem dull, those are the ones that matter most. That's where discipline is tested and built. It's easy to stay consistent when something feels fresh and new. But when it turns into repetition, most people quit. The truth is, if you want long-term success, you have to master the boring tasks that lead to real improvement. The reason people avoid these tasks is because they don't provide instant reward. They don't give you the rush. They don't offer attention. But they are the foundation of everything. Daily study, routine exercise, time management, focused work. These are the habits that quietly build your future. They require effort without applause. They demand consistency without recognition. Most people don't have the patience for that. They're always chasing the next big thing. But real discipline is built in the days where you show up, get the work done, and expect nothing in return except progress. You will be tempted to skip them. You'll want to trade them for something easier or more exciting. You'll tell yourself that you'll come back to them later. That's the trap. That's where most people lose the game. The boring tasks might not feel urgent, but they are necessary. They build your mindset, sharpen your skills, and prepare you for bigger challenges. Every time you show up for them, you strengthen your foundation. And a strong foundation will carry you further than any short burst of inspiration ever will. If you only do the work when it feels interesting, you'll never get far. Growth demands that you stay locked in, even when it's repetitive. You don't get better by doing something once. You get better by doing it until it becomes second nature. That's why mastery belongs to the disciplined, not the distracted. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about commitment. The ability to repeat the small steps without complaint. The ability to stay focused when the task is no longer fun. That's what separates high achievers from everyone else. Discipline grows when you stop needing everything to be exciting. You stop chasing quick results and start focusing on what actually works. Boring tasks might not impress anyone, but they work. They move you forward. They keep you grounded. They help you avoid the ups and downs of emotion-based action. You don't need to feel good to do the work. You just need to know why the work matters. And when you understand that, you'll stop looking for motivation. You'll stop waiting for energy. You'll start taking action because you understand what's at stake. You have to train yourself to find pride in the process. Not the outcome, but the process. The pride in waking up on time. The pride in finishing the work. The pride in sticking to the plan. That quiet confidence, built through boring tasks, creates the kind of discipline that doesn't fade. You begin to enjoy the challenge of staying consistent. You begin to respect yourself for showing up, and you begin to build momentum that no one can take from you. Because now, your success isn't tied to emotion, it's tied to your habits. The boring tasks are where character is developed. No one is watching. No one is clapping. It's just you and your standard. Do you keep going, or do you quit? Do you stay focused, or do you give in to distraction? Each of those moments is a decision point. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you get stronger. You create a new normal for yourself. And that's how real transformation happens. Not in the big moments, but in the quiet hours where you choose to honor your commitment when it's not easy. It takes humility to accept that results don't come fast. That success is earned through repetition and routine. You might not see progress in a week. You might not see it in a month, but the results are stacking. The effort is adding up. You just can't see it yet. That's why you need discipline, to keep going when the results are invisible. To stay focused when it feels like nothing's changing. If you can do that, if you can master the boring tasks, you'll gain something most people never have: consistency. And that consistency will carry you to real success. Most people are looking for something new to change their life. A new strategy, a new method, a new hack. But what they really need is to consistently do what already works. It's not about more, it's about better focus, better effort, better discipline. The boring tasks might not be flashy, but they are proven, they're tested, they work if you work them. You don't need to keep searching. You need to keep executing. Build the habit of execution, and you won't need to chase motivation ever again. You'll trust yourself to get it done, no matter how you feel. Start today. Identify the boring tasks that matter to your goals, write them down, schedule them, and show up for them every day, no matter what. Don't look for excitement, look for progress. Don't expect praise, expect growth. When you master these tasks, you take full control of your life. You stop depending on external factors. You stop chasing results. You begin to live with purpose. Discipline is everything. And the real test is not in how loud you start, but in how long you're willing to do the work that most people ignore. That's how you win. Every time. Number 9. Discipline your emotions by staying calm under pressure. Discipline isn't just about what you do. It's about how you manage what you feel. When pressure shows up, emotions rise, frustration builds, doubt creeps in, anger, stress, fear. These are all real, and they hit hardest when things don't go your way. But discipline means not letting those emotions control your next move. You can feel it, but you can't feed it. You've got to train yourself to stay calm in chaos, to hold your center when the situation around you tries to shake you. That's where strength is built. When you don't react out of emotion, but respond with clarity. In moments of stress, most people let their feelings take the lead. They raise their voice, quit the task, or retreat into excuses. But emotional discipline is about control, not silence, not suppression, control. You acknowledge what you feel, but you don't let it decide for you. This takes practice. It takes awareness, the ability to pause, breathe, and make a decision that serves your goals instead of your temporary emotions. Every time you do that, you're becoming stronger inside. You're building a mind that doesn't panic, that doesn't collapse under pressure, but remains steady and clear. The reality is, pressure reveals the level of discipline you've built. When things are calm, anyone can pretend to be focused. But when pressure shows up, tight deadlines, unexpected setbacks, personal conflict, that's when the truth comes out. Do you stay composed, or do you fall apart? Emotional control isn't something you magically gain in the moment. It's something you prepare for daily. Through small, repeated decisions, you train your response. You teach your mind not to jump, not to spiral, but to hold firm. That discipline becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when everything else feels unstable. Being calm doesn't mean being passive. It means staying intentional. It means thinking clearly when others panic. You don't have to react just because you're provoked. You don't have to speak just because you're angry. You don't have to give up just because things got hard. Discipline teaches you to wait, to assess, to respond with purpose. It gives you the ability to protect your energy and not waste it on emotional reactions that don't serve you. That's how you stay in control. That's how you win under pressure, by keeping your head when everyone else is losing theirs. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to hold your emotions without letting them explode. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you disciplined. It gives you the space to process your thoughts, weigh your options, and move forward with intention. People lose opportunities every day because they couldn't manage one moment of anger. They destroy relationships, quit on goals, or make decisions they regret, all because they didn't pause. Emotional discipline protects you from those mistakes. It turns one bad moment into just a challenge, not a downfall. You're not always going to feel calm. Life will throw things at you that you didn't expect. Pressure will build, and in those moments your emotions will demand control. But this is exactly where discipline must lead. You have to remind yourself that how you respond is always your responsibility. You can't blame pressure for a poor choice. You can't blame stress for breaking your word. That's what separates the disciplined from the emotional. You act with intention. You lead yourself. Even when your mind is racing, your actions stay aligned with your standards. Calm doesn't come from the absence of stress. It comes from preparation. It comes from mental training. When you take time every day to manage your habits, sharpen your thinking, and build focus, you're building the tools that will serve you in pressure. Discipline prepares you to stay calm by giving you something to rely on when emotions try to take over. You've already practiced showing up when it's uncomfortable. You've already done the work when it felt difficult. So when pressure comes, it doesn't break you. It just activates the strength you've already built. Your emotions are not the enemy. They are signals, not commands. Feeling something doesn't mean you need to act on it. Emotional discipline gives you the ability to separate the feeling from the action. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel frustration and still be respectful. You can feel pressure and still think clearly. That gap between emotion and reaction is where discipline lives. It's a space you create by refusing to act immediately. You hold your power. You think through the outcome. You protect your progress by not letting emotions undo it. Staying calm under pressure doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means you know how to handle it. You've built the strength to stay grounded, to stay focused, to keep working when everything around you feels heavy. Most people fall apart when things get tough. They let emotions cloud their vision. They quit on plans. They lash out. But you don't have to live like that. You can build a different path. One rooted in emotional control, daily habits, and self-leadership. That's real discipline. And it's something you earn by how you train your thoughts and actions every single day. If you want to lead a disciplined life, you have to lead your emotions first. Stay calm when you want to explode. Stay focused when you want to walk away. Stay committed when everything feels heavy. Pressure will test you. Stress will find you. But if you've trained yourself to remain steady, no challenge will control you. You'll own your mind, your actions, and your direction. And when you live like that, grounded, controlled, focused, you'll move through life with strength. Not from pretending to be tough, but from proving you can handle the moments that matter most. Number 10. Take full responsibility and stop waiting for change. Discipline begins the moment you stop blaming everything around you. If you're waiting for life to change before you act, you're going to wait forever. Progress doesn't come from outside. It comes when you take full responsibility for how you think, how you act, and how you respond. You can't build discipline while playing the victim. You can't move forward if you keep pointing fingers. If something isn't working in your life, it's your job to fix it. That truth may sting, but it's the starting point of power. You are the problem, and you are also the solution. It's easy to wait. It's easy to say, when things calm down, or when I feel better. But those delays are traps. They keep you stuck in place. You wait for better conditions, better timing, better energy, but none of that is guaranteed. What you do have is today, right now, and your responsibility is to make something out of it. Stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop hoping something will magically shift. The world owes you nothing. Your life will not change until you decide to change it. That's the truth most people ignore. Taking full responsibility means owning every part of your routine, your habits, your reactions, your discipline. If you waste your time, that's on you. If you don't show up, that's your decision. When you take responsibility, you remove the excuse. You silence the blame. You stop saying, "It's not my fault," and start saying, "It's my job to fix this." That kind of mindset gives you freedom. You're no longer stuck. You're no longer waiting. You're acting. And that shift from passive to active is what turns discipline from an idea into a daily reality. Responsibility is not about guilt. It's about power. When you take ownership of your situation, you take ownership of your future. You stop being a passenger and start driving. Most people give up that power. They hand it to circumstances. They wait for motivation, for permission, for perfect timing. But when you live like that, you lose. You waste days. You lose momentum. You stay small. Discipline requires that you take the wheel, that you guide your life with purpose. No more waiting. No more delays. No more hoping things will work themselves out. They won't unless you do something about it. If you want to become disciplined, the first thing to do is stop explaining your weaknesses. Stop justifying your inaction. If you messed up, own it. If you've been lazy, admit it. That honesty clears the fog. It gives you a clean place to start. And from there you rebuild. One choice at a time. One disciplined act at a time. No one's going to save you from yourself. No one's going to build your future for you. The work is yours. The burden is yours. But so is the reward. You want change? Then stop waiting for it. Start building it. The truth is, most people are not held back by others. They're held back by their own hesitation. The fear of trying and failing. The habit of avoiding pressure. The comfort of being stuck. But none of that leads anywhere. You either take responsibility for your growth or stay stuck in delay. Discipline is about showing up, not showing off. It's not about waiting for the perfect mood. It's about keeping your word when no one's watching. It's not about finding the right plan. It's about committing to action before the plan feels comfortable. You move first. Everything else follows. No progress is made while waiting. Time doesn't pause for you to get ready. Life moves with or without you. And if you choose to wait, you fall behind. There is no moment more right than now. There is no sign more clear than your current results. If you don't like where you are, then step up and change something. Discipline won't come knocking on your door. You build it through choice, through structure, through commitment. You don't wait for discipline, you create it. You don't wait for change, you cause it. The ones who succeed are the ones who move. Start by accepting the hard truth. Your life is a reflection of what you've allowed, You allowed the excuses. You allowed the distractions. You allowed the laziness. But you can also choose something else. You can choose structure. You can choose to hold yourself to a higher standard. That choice is always available. It's not about starting big. It's about starting now. Even if you're behind, even if you've failed before, you can take control. Responsibility is the gateway. Once you take it fully, discipline becomes your way of living, not just your temporary fix. Waiting for the right moment is the fastest way to lose momentum. You've got to move even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. You train yourself to act without external pressure. That's how you build a discipline that lasts. Not the kind that depends on hype, but the kind that runs deep. One that doesn't fade when life gets tough. And it all begins with responsibility. With saying, this is on me, and I'm ready to do something about it. That's the most powerful place to begin. From there, everything starts to change. Not by chance, but by choice. Discipline is everything. And it begins with one truth. No one is coming to fix your life. It's your job. It's your responsibility. It always has been. You don't need permission. You don't need more time. You need action. You need follow-through. You need to stop blaming, stop delaying, and start doing. That's how discipline is built. That's how change is created. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now, because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. But the moment you take full responsibility, the moment you stop waiting, that's when your life begins to move. And that's when you finally take control. So now you know discipline is everything. It's the difference between talking and doing, between hoping and achieving. You don't need another plan. You don't need more motivation. You need to take full control of your actions, your time, your habits. Every part of your life will improve the moment you stop waiting and start showing up with discipline daily, not just when it feels good. You've heard the truth. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you go back to the old habits? Or will you finally take control and build the life you say you want? If you're serious, start today. Fix one habit, create one routine, show up with purpose. Discipline is built in the small daily choices you make when no one's watching. Thank you for watching. If this message hit home, don't just move on, act on it. And remember, change doesn't start tomorrow. It starts right now.